Tonight, it's all about the people that keep us going. We're talking about family on DXB Today.
And welcome to a new week on DXB Today. Tonight, we are celebrating International Day of Families. So make sure everyone in your family is gathered around to watch.
That's right, Dina. The theme for this year's is families in the digital world. And we will be discussing this with some experts on today's show.
We're also chatting with world-renowned wisdom teacher and expert in family dynamics, Dr. Shafali, later on in the show. So how close are we to our families? Obviously, you live with your very own family.
I do, and I've got two sets of grandparents watching, so I better say that I love them very much. And all my family in Egypt watches every episode, so yes, love you guys.
So, but we found out some interesting information earlier that you were actually born in Greece.
Yes.
That's interesting.
How are you linking that to the multicultural family?
The multicultural family.
Well, you know, my husband's half Emirati, half American. I'm Egyptian, Canadian, German. My kids are very confused and born in Greece.
Yes.
I think by the time I was 12 years old, I'd lived in 6 or 7 countries across 4 continents. So, yeah. We are quite the third culture family, which I know is going to be a subject we'll be delving into very, very soon. Anyway, here to co-host with us today is someone else who can shed some light on that. A nurturing individual whose passion and love for families shines through her work. Let's meet our guest co-host for today.
Hi everyone, I'm Hanan Ezzeldine from the Family Hub. We're talking about everything that has to do with international families today. Watch us on DXB Today.
The Family Hub supports families on all things positive parenting, and Hanan will share more with us shortly. For now, we turn our attention to the most popular indoor adventure park for parents and children in Dubai. I actually got a chance to go there myself, so here, check it out. Well, you're there, aren't you?
I'm there.
But I did go recently, so.
Nice.
From dodgeball to basketball to Ninja Warriors, Street Maniacs has it all, and I'm going to get involved and do my best. I'm a little bit nervous, so I need a few tips and tricks first. So you go speak to someone. So James, here we are. Listen, I have no idea what's going to go down here. I know you've got, it's kind of like, what exactly is it? Is it an adventure park? Is it an assault course? What is Street Mania?
It's a bit of everything, really. So we are an adventure assault course. We're a bit of parkour. We're trampolines all over the place. We've got so many different sections. So we've got a dodgeball court. We've got a wipeout, a Ninja Warrior. We've got rope swings. We've got everything here.
So do you get many like birthday parties and events and stuff like that as well? People coming?
Yeah, that's one of the main things that we actually do at Street Maniacs, and one of the things that we specialise in is birthday parties, school trips, events as well. So we do team building and things like that. We also do classes. So we do adventure classes, we do bouncing classes and everything like that, from flips and tricks to parkour as well.
I need classes. I need lessons, man. Please do not let me alone at that without practicing first. So is there anyone I can speak to and do some practice?
There is Coach Rafiq's here. We've got Coach Boom as well. So anything from a beginner to an expert, we've got all levels.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, James. And look after me, yeah?
Yeah, I will do.
So first off, what's the most common mistake that people make when they come here?
So first of all, we get that most of the people were too excited to jump and have fun with us. But we need to make sure that we follow and see the safety briefing and video that we have outside first. Before we start jumping, make sure we do the stretching, safety briefing, make sure we follow one person per trampoline, not allowed to run inside the court. And yeah, just have fun and be safe as well.
So Rafiq, what do you specialise in? I mean, you're looking good, you're looking fit here. How does it work in terms of you've got this thing, the wall. I'm a bit nervous, man. I need your help on this.
All right. The first thing is you need to start easy, for step by step. If we came here, you cannot jump, do something crazy directly. You need to ask first, the coach. And also I'll teach you front flip, the back flip, the easy way.
You could teach me a backflip?
You do it 100% in the easy way.
Or a front flip as well?
Yes, of course, yes. Let's do it, man.
Man, you're challenging me, man. You're challenging me. But I love a challenge, so yeah, I think I'm up for this, man. You know what? This is the thing. I'm absolutely loving my time here. But these guys think I'm one of the crews. They're not even telling me. They're just like, come on, come with us. Let's play. I'm like, what are we doing? And they're just like, just come on. I'm like, what are we doing? So I've got no idea what we're doing now. Street Maniacs, this is how we do it, man. I'm one of the crew now. We're gonna go upstairs, relax. There's a cafe upstairs, so you can have tea, coffee, and do what you gotta do. So I think it's been a good, productive day. Street Maniacs.
Well, there we go, there we have it. It's a very interesting place, a very energetic place, and I'm very happy to be relaxed here and chilling out now.
You were having a blast.
Believe me, I'm very happy. So, Hanan, good to see you. Have you actually been to Street Maniacs before?
No. I was just saying I have no life. With the work and my son playing football all the time, I have no life to do anything else.
Oh, well, thank God it's football and not play centers, because I'm in play center world, and it is a... Now, let's talk about the Family Hub, because, my goodness, you are doing some amazing things out there. What was your reason for starting the Family Hub? Obviously, I see that it's primarily in Arabic. Yep. You've got some English, but you really tackle some sensitive subjects that I'm intrigued by. Tell us a bit about that.
So I was teaching for the last 13 years all over the world, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Switzerland, and now here in the UAE. And then, you know, I started blogging about just family matters when COVID hit. And my friends were like, you know what, you need to take this into a public profile. And then traction started to happen. There are so many amazing English educators, but not enough ones who are speaking in Arabic. And that's where we said, okay, so this is an obvious gap, so let's tackle these topics. And when I started speaking Arabic, I became more relatable. So that the fact that I'm more relatable now makes the message much more clear, and, you know, people are actually responding.
Let's talk about some of the topics that you're actually tackling. Like, obviously, it's not all roses when it comes to raising a family. When it comes to bullying, for example, what sort of advice can you give parents?
Okay, so people say we want our kids to stop bullying on their own. If you can't, and it's not right to get kids to do things on their own. So we're looking at allies, bystanders, teaching kids, you know, right from the beginning what empathy is, kindness is, through a lot of activities and so on. But a lot of times parents don't know when to interfere and when they don't. My key word is safety. If your child is safe and they can manage it on their own, then let them. But if your child is not safe, then this is where you need to be your kid's biggest advocate.
So when it comes to, like, obviously that's the physical side of things and one-on-one, but when it comes to e-learning, how do you actually put that together? And I know you've got a curriculum.
So we're looking at, okay, there's a difference between, you know, learning and e-learning. Unfortunately, we all experienced that during COVID. And it's so important to understand that there's a difference between my role as a parent and the teachers in school. Yes. So the teachers put the curriculum. My job is to support and to help and to guide, but it's not my job to be replacing the teacher or going overboard. And that's where, you know, the boundaries get shaken a little bit. And this is where people like me come in to say, parents, this is not what you do, and this is what, you know, yeah.
Now, bringing you back to the Family Hub now, and tackling these sensitive subjects, there's something that you're not mentioning here, which I'm going to bring up. You were a teacher for so many years. Obviously, you developed these close relationships with your kids. There must have been things that in your students and the way their relationships with their families that you did not like. So, which must have inspired this. Am I putting the pieces together here?
You are. A lot of times we see things like, you know, okay, so parents could sometimes use could be a little bit aggressive with their kids, not just verbally but also physically. And unfortunately, some things could be a little bit of a taboo. We don't speak about them, but we need to, because we see whatever happens at home will be somehow mirrored in school. And when you have kids, you see, you know, lack of self-confidence, lack of empathy, and when they're a little bit aggressive towards others, it's because this is happening at home.
So tell us about some of the events and the community that you've now created as part of this hub.
So we have a growing community of around 80,000 parents. We have these ongoing events every month for parents and for mothers where we get together, we talk about everything under the sun. So we're looking at all sorts of topics from things like aggression, body safety, safety on screens, how do you deal with, bullying, cyberbullying, sibling rivalries, all these things that we have. And it is amazing to see the common language that we all share, regardless of our backgrounds, our race, our religions, what we think of, it gets together.
So tell us, you've started a new podcast, haven't you? And we're very excited to know the kinds of topics that you're going to be tackling in this.
Yeah, they're all very controversial. It's all in Arabic. I made that decision. It's called, in Arabic it says الموضوع عائلي جدا. In English it's a family thing. So it's we talk about, when do you allow your kids to quit, even if when they're on top? When do you get the inclusion conversation in? What does it mean to be a parent of a special needs child? What is it like when you have, kids reach puberty, and how do you have these conversations? So all of these things are things that we are constantly tackling, and hopefully it works.
I mean, you're doing some very good work
Thank
here.
you.
I mean, I might start looking at it just so I'm ready for when the time comes.
You'll enjoy it, trust me.
Thank you. We're going to be back with Hanan very, very soon. But for right now, we're taking a quick break, and we'll be back with a story about a very special Dubai family who've shown immense resilience by rallying together through sports. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. Our next guest is the inspiring founder of an interactive platform that assists society of all ages and abilities to make a difference in this world. Please welcome Nick Watson, the founder of Team Angelwolf, to the show. Nick, I have to say, you don't know who I am, but I know who you are. And I have seen you and your family race. And when you guys crossed that finish line, you had me and everyone around me in tears.
Thank you.
What you guys do is incredible. So how did this all start?
It started in about 2014 when we were looking at things that we could do with Rio. So Rio is a person with determination. He's now 20. At 6 months old, he had his first seizure. So we realised from that day on, life was going to be very challenging for us. At 5 years, we got his first diagnosis, and we realised that things were going to be challenging in finding things that he could be included. My sport as a kid was triathlon, so swimming, cycling and running. I actually had a bit of a health scare one day, and after surgery, woke up one morning in hospital and was like, I need to go back and do the World Championships, which is in Hawaii, in Kona, which is an Ironman, 3.8, 180, 42. So to get there, you need to do another race to qualify. But along the journey, life just got too much of us. We didn't have enough time to train. And one day, my wife turned around and said, have you ever thought about racing with Rio? He was 12 at the time, and I was like, how am I going to do that? So obviously you go online, you look at the Team Hoyt, who were in Kona, a father and son racing together doing triathlon. I was like, maybe I could do that. Typical father. I was like, okay, I need some logistics, need some equipment. We obviously need a kayak, a bike, special bike and a chair. And then 2014, we did our first race. So it was what we call half Ironman distance. So I swam 1.9 kilometres.
We're looking at it right now on screen.
In the kayak, and then 90k bike, 21k run, crossed the finish line, and just realised how much Rio enjoyed this. And then we started to think, actually, how much the community was starting to engage and understand about inclusion. So we started racing, and we're almost about 500 races. We've covered about 11,000 kilometres of swimming, cycling and running together over the years. Wow. So that is basically the distance. Rio has gone from Dubai to Australia. I think we're somewhere near Adelaide at the moment. And we've just kind of realised how could we make a difference. So we set Team Angelwolf up as a non-profit in 2016 with the Community Development Authority. And our goal is simple, to make sure that everyone is welcome, everyone is equal, and how can we break barriers down with people with determination, and we do it through sport and activities and talks and storytelling, and that's been our goal and that's our passion.
We've been talking about storytelling, and you have an incredible story actually, but how do you narrate that story to people who do not understand what a special needs family is?
Yeah, look, a great question. I think the challenge for us is being out there and being seen. I think sport has been a great mechanism for us because, again, loads of people race in different environments, swimming, cycling, running, or whatever. But I think for us, it's also about education as well. So we go in, I do lots of school talks, I go into companies, we tell our story. So we start from an early age talking about inclusion, talking about that everyone should be welcome. How can we embrace people that may have their own challenges? So I think it's a long process. But hopefully along the way, we hope that even other children go home and talk about inclusion at home within, obviously, that environment. But then hopefully our goal is always, we've been in Dubai 25 years, our goal is to encourage and, I wouldn't say inspire, but maybe inspire other families to say, look, it's fine to have a child with determination. We can do stuff together. And it doesn't matter what that is, just find those elements. And I suppose that's been our goal, to make sure that we can include
and that's
everyone.
The wonderful thing as well is that obviously the UAE and Dubai is helping out fantastically well. You've got the support from His Highness, you know what I mean? That is something that's phenomenal. And it's wonderful that to see Rio doing so many amazing things. But also Tia's got a world record attempt, right? She's doing this.
I got goosebumps already. And look, when we were little, I think all of us had Guinness Book of Records at some stage.
Oh yeah, I love looking through that book.
We went through it, and as a child, Tia had it as a Christmas birthday present. And when she was 11, she turned around to me and said, "Dad, I want a world record." And I was like, "Yeah, of course you do." So like, "What do you want to do?" She said, "Well, I want to do a triathlon with Rio." And I was like, "Really?" So she did, when she was 11, an official world record, because you have to be 16 to get a Guinness World Record. So first she did a 750-minute swim, 20k bike, 5k run, and she got a world record when she was 11. But then she turned 16 in November and she was like, "Dad, do you remember I want a Guinness World Record?" So we went to Guinness, and obviously she had to be 16. So he said, "Look, what do you want to do?" And Tia turned and said, "I want to do an Olympic triathlon." So this is 1.5 swim, pulling Rio, 40k bike and a 10k run. Also, to get the record, we had to allocate a time, so you had to do it in 3 hours, 45 minutes, otherwise no record. So on the 25th of March last month, she went out and she absolutely smashed it. I followed her on the bike and things. I was in tears for 3 hours, 39 minutes. Wow. She crossed the finish line, and it was just an epic occasion. But I think the funny thing about all this is you go and ask Tia and you said, "How was the record?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's all right." But this has become her norm. This is what she knows. So she's been watching Dad and Rio racing all these years. She's done lots of races now. Yesterday, for example, she did her first school talk. So she, like me, is telling her story in school. She did her first one yesterday.
Oh, incredible.
And I was like, I sat at the back bubbling. The teachers were crying. We all had goosebumps. And we just thought, what a lovely way to talk about inclusion to grade 4, who will be looking at Tia going, "I can relate.
I can relate.
You know, you're 16. You know," and I was like, this is brilliant. And I think if we're going to talk about inclusion, start early, start at school.
So on that note, you know, I have 2 young boys, and I'm going to really put myself out there right now, and I hope that I don't use any of the wrong terms, because we are all so worried. And I think as a parent, I'll often, a number of years ago when my boys were young, I used to just be like, "Don't stare." If something, you know, if they had seen someone or seen a disability and, you know, or they pointed, and I was just always so worried I'd say the wrong thing. And I think our natural inclination as parents, when we don't educate ourselves on this matter, is to be like, "No, don't look, don't stare."
Yes.
But that isn't the right approach, what I've learned over the last few years. So what is your message to everyone out there watching who wants to educate their kids and themselves? What is the best kind of advice that you could give them?
Look, I think we need to be a community as one. You know, we need to embrace everyone that's home within our local environment. If there is a person with determination who is within your family, within that close network, we need to find a way in which we can welcome them. And that's like simple. That's just simple communication skills. We don't need to be afraid. We also need to ask the person with disabilities how they would like us to communicate their terminology, so we can learn in that aspect. Say, for example, someone's in a wheelchair, how would they like to be spoken to? Should we get down to the same level? There's loads of elements that we could start talking about that dialogue. But I think, first also as well, when we come, especially with children, find out the similarities. in those people. You know what I mean? We've all got similarities, you know what I mean? We've got the same hair colour or whatever those things, but we also got differences as well. So the more we talk about that, and that becomes the natural dialogue at home, it will then go into schools, then goes into corporates, and then everyone will feel welcome. And that is our goal as Team Angelwolf, is to make sure everyone is included, but we just got to break down these barriers where people feel they don't know what to do, and I totally get it. And I totally understand as a father, and for example, as I said at the beginning, was when I used to race, people used to come over and say hello to me first before Rio. Now that's changed. People say hello to Rio first and acknowledge him, who he is, before they say hello to Dad. And I'm like, that for us has been a part of this journey. And if we're talking about inclusion, that is so key.
Well, but that's the thing, it's great now. Now Tia's there, you've got Rio there, it's a complete family affair.
Yes.
Thank
Nick,
you so much,
you are
Nick.
an inspiration to millions, man. Seriously.
I'm just a dad.
Thank you, man. Wow. Now, our spotlight for today is on a company that helps children build their social circle and grab awesome, amazing deals along the way. Here is our chat with the fantastic Shamim Kasabawi, the founder and CEO of Playdate.
I was born in Khartoum in Sudan, and I was raised in Auckland, New Zealand. I am now an expat living in Dubai. My career has been very much in the brand building communication space for over 20 years. And today I run Playdate, an app that I launched to help families build a social circle for their little ones. We are moving around the world more than ever. Expats, nomads, immigrants. Our generation is not living in the same street that our grandparents lived on. And so creating relationships is an important factor when you are moving around the world. For adults, it's a lot easier. For little kids, it's not so much. So the biggest challenges when it comes to running my startup would be the tech side of things, because I'm not a tech-savvy person. Funding and understanding how it works has been a challenge for me, and just getting my head around it. Our biggest market after the UAE is the US, and that is where we've seen most of our growth happen. And so we would be testing into a new city. And by city, we go suburb by suburb, because obviously it's a social media app. So we would go suburb by suburb to kind of test and understand more about our consumers. So after the UAE, we're coming for you, the US. The energy is insane, you know, the energy, and I think the vision, the leadership vision, makes you as a resident feel like you can do anything, achieve anything, be anything you want. And I call Dubai the land of opportunity. If I had one day, I would do a beach or pool day with my family. Probably West Palm or Kite Beach, or any beach in Jumeirah, really great beaches. I'd probably do lunch in one of the restaurants in the neighborhoods. And then we'll probably head home, put the little one to sleep, and then head out with my husband to one of the amazing F&B experiences around town. DFC is probably one of our favorite spots. Amazing restaurants, amazing food, amazing vibes, and always a great night.
What an amazing technology for parents to find each other and kids to be able to socialise outside of the home. But Lane, it is time for the daily roundup, sir. What do you have for us?
Thanks, Faris. The first year of the Knowledge and Human Development Authority's wellbeing evaluations reveal that 74% of schools provide high or very high levels of wellbeing for students. The summary reports provide parents with quick and accessible information on different aspects of school quality, including quality of teaching, well-being, provision, evaluation of key subjects, areas of strength and improvements, and many more.
This is amazing that schools in the UAE are doing this, because I feel like when I went to school, it was study, go home, study some more, come do your exams, do your homework, but that was about it. It didn't go any more than that. And Hanan, do you think it's important to have the school get involved with sort of well-being and mental health? 100%.
I mean, the kids spend 8-9 hours every day in schools, and we as parents don't see them as much as we used to in school. So it's so important to have this character building right in there.
My kids actually do therapy and counseling once a week in school, which I think is really amazing. Wow. And they address all these subjects that I know Hanan addresses as well in the Family Hub, whether it be bullying, and obviously if they have an issue with another kid, then they go to that therapist. And yeah, I think it's amazing. And we sometimes get involved. They have a blog. I think it's beautiful. I mean, we know now how important our mental health is.
I mean, certain schools focus on different stuff. Like, I know that my friend teaches at a school which is all about environmentalism, and I think it's this kind of thing that will really shape the future and change the future. Thoughts?
I used to teach for 13 years, right? And I left to pursue the Family Hub. So, you know, you see the changes that happen in schools and in the way that, schools are trying to create a community. So there's the parents, there's the teachers, there's the staff, administration. Like in a lot of the schools, we used to have the kids do actual things with, the cleaners, the janitors, people who are helping them out, teach them languages, do things with them. There's a lot of community service going on in schools as well right now. This is part of the well-being and, raising the culture of empathy and so on. So it's no longer about that. There's also a huge emphasis on sports, on arts, on music, like on things that are no longer, just a class where you have to go and get the grade. There's a lot more going on.
I think it's beautiful. And our kids, our school has a no homework policy up until a much older age, just so that kids have better balance in their life. So I know we could keep on going on and on with this subject, but right now it is time for a break, and we'll be back with a sneak peek into the life of a parent influencer, as well as our exclusive with international family expert, Dr. Shefali. Don't you go anywhere. Hello and welcome back. Now we are joined by our next guest, a parent influencer and proud mama who loves to explore Dubai with her family. Please welcome Helen O'Brien to the show. My little loves, DXB.
Thank you so much.
I mean, can we just start off by saying something? Heli is one of the original mom bloggers. She was one of the moms that started it out in the UAE, and I absolutely love your content. What was your reason for getting started?
Thank you so much. That's really humbling to hear. I started with Dina, I suppose, years and years ago. We're not going to forget that she was one of the OGs as well. We moved here from Ireland, and I think it was really originally back to that time where the social media was kind of slow enough. There was a bit of Facebook, not really much Instagram. Started putting up a bit of content just because I wanted our families back home to experience what we were experiencing in Dubai. And yeah, I think I was just, as we'd say, allergic in Ireland. I was allergic to sending an email to every single family member with the same photos. So it was nice to have a platform to just put up a diary, basically, for ourselves.
And then all these other people started following you and becoming a part of that adventure.
It was incredible. It just built a really nice community, met some lovely friends, made some lovely friendships, groups for my kids, and just didn't really feel lonely. Felt like I had a home in Dubai. Yeah.
That's amazing. So it's so nice to see a group, like you're one of the originals, as we say. How are your girls reacting to that right now? So you have 15, 10, and 5.
Yeah, that's right.
Like different age groups.
Of course.
So how are they reacting to your content, and how, I'm sure they walk down the streets, people know them. So how are they reacting to things like that?
Yeah, well, as you know, Dubai can be super small. So I feel like even though such a big, modern, gorgeous place to live, you're right. Like they do, especially my eldest, I suppose, she has bright red hair, so she's very recognisable. I do think that she loves to be honoured at the moment, but we're getting to that stage where she could turn around and be like, no, I'm backing out now. Whether it's the 10 and the 5-year-old are absolutely loving all the opportunities. They love it as well. They love seeing what I put up. I'm only putting up stuff for us that they can look back on and just see how our lives evolved as we lived here.
And so it's like a story.
It is, yeah. It's our story. That's all it is. You know?
It's a beautiful story. So you started off with making your family jealous, sending them pictures of what's happening, your exciting life in Dubai, like everyone does. But how is parenting in different countries? Because you've lived, like, so you mentioned Ireland,
yes,
but you've got an Australian twang.
I know. I like
UK,
to confuse everybody.
Like how is parenting in these different countries?
Well, I can say, as for living in different countries, I can see it differently for myself being a child in different countries. But for my own children, they've only ever grown up in Dubai. We left when my eldest was about 4 years old. So Dubai is her home, and Dubai is definitely the next to their home. But for myself, I suppose growing up in all these different countries and experiencing life in them all, I mean, Dubai has just, you know, blown us away. It's home, it's where we want to be. I'm sure my mother and father will hate me for saying that. They'll want us to come home one day. But it's just such an incredible place to bring up children. There's so many opportunities here, and, you know, even down to like extracurricular activities. I'm sure, you know yourself, there is so many of them. But they can delve in and try different things that they want to do. And I just think that those opportunities are just, you know, they're just going to set them up for the future of, you know, knowing where they want to be.
Now, I'm going to move on to a bit of a contentious subject here. Hanan's dreading this, Heli's dreading this. But, you know, I kind of am dreading it too. I've avoided this subject, which is kids on social media. Yes. And I know it's a very, very private and difficult question to ask, and I think it's a very personal one that every parent makes. I was going to say, I lost my job while I was pregnant with my first son. I had no childcare, and I decided to start blogging, and my son was involved, and it was this beautiful way of involving my children, getting them to enjoy these amazing experiences and documenting it. Obviously, you chose to make the same decision. Hanan, we're going to loop you in. What are your thoughts about the do's and the don'ts? Why do you do it, and what do you stay away from?
Yeah, well, I suppose for me, choice is number one. So only choosing things that you want to talk about or create content for, that's a big deal for us. Choice for our children, exactly the same. So if my eldest daughter decided, no, I don't want to be a part of this anymore, that's absolutely fine. And I always try and show her the content that I've made first. And even if she wasn't, it might not have known at the time, I'll always ask her permission first. Does she want us to put her up there? Because at the end of the day, she's old enough to make that choice. I've started bringing that down to the smaller ones as well, letting them know, look, this is what I've made. You know, how do you feel about this? Are they willing to do it? I suppose it is a very, as you say, private, personal decision for every single family to make. And I think it's really different as this is my page and these are my children, and, you know, I know what they like and don't like. Whereas when you're looking at, we'll say, my eldest daughter that might then get her own phone, seeing what she's putting up and that kind of content, because it's two completely different things.
Right,
know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Hanan, I know that you have a different opinion on this, and I actually think I'm with you on this. I don't have any kids myself, so I don't really have to think about it.
We're going to experiment with you.
What do you think about putting kids on social media?
So, again, it's not a black or and white thing, right? So what content am I showing with my kids? The research says don't put your kids online. This is the research. But I do believe that life is not black and white, and there are areas. So you're blogging about your kid because you're showing something that's positive, you're trying to create a positive influence. This is something that we can discuss. But if you're putting your kids at their low moments, because this is a video that will go viral, this is a problem. You're putting your kids in a compromising situation where one day they're going to look back and say, why did you put me through that? That's not okay. If the families are having an issue, they're fighting, they're creating a big drama story, and the kids are involved through aggression, through a lot of things, children should not be involved.
That's interesting. And Heli, so in terms of like what you're doing, the boundaries that you put in place, how is that done? How do you actually put those boundaries in place?
Yeah, well, I suppose there are so many, obviously we have to abide by all rules and laws from whatever country that you're visiting at that time. And mainly because we are out of Dubai, I follow all those rules. But you have rules in place yourself as a parent, right? It's everyday things that you will allow your child to do, whether they're online or offline, that you're discussing with your family. And, you know, myself and my husband, we have a lot of these chats about what's allowed, what's not. You know, I do think obviously there are boundaries. You know, would I put them up in a bikini, for example? Absolutely not. Do you know what I mean? Would I show, oh, we're eating here today and we really enjoyed it for this reason, and in the right attire and things like that? Then absolutely, you know, if they're willing to let me put that up. I do find as well it's it's one of those things that we don't know what's going to come in years to come. This is so new. This is
we're the first generation,
we're
right?
The first generation
we're about to find out.
Yeah, and you don't know what, you know, advantages or disadvantages, I suppose, at the moment this will bring. But for the most part, I think as long as I can keep my kids happy and healthy and they're enjoying it, then I'm all in.
Wonderful.
And safe. I'm going to add safe.
And safe.
Of
course safe.
You know what? I'm going to say thank you so much, Helen. I've not supported you or followed you, but I will now. Even though I'm a dad.
Right, Hanan, you have a lot of opinions on certain things. You're an educator, you're a TV star now, but let's see how well you were at paying attention to today's episode. We're going to have our DXB Today quiz. You're going to have 60 seconds on the clock to answer as many questions as you can correctly. And we're going to be starting that in 3, 2, 1. What day are we celebrating on the show today? Is it International Day of Families or International Day of Enemies?
International Day of Families.
Correct. According to KHDA, how many % of schools provide high or very high levels of well-being for students? Is it 74 or 54?
74.
Is the right answer. What is the name of the parent influencer who was a guest on the show today? Was it Helen Mirren or Helen O'Brien?
O'Brien.
Is the right answer. Who is your mum's parents' daughter to you? Is it an auntie or a grandma? Your mum's parents' daughter.
What?
Who is your mum's parents' daughter to you? Is it an auntie or a grandma?
No, it's a grandma. No,
it's
an auntie. It's the auntie. What is
an
this?
Auntie.
You're putting me on the spot.
What company did we feature on today's show? Sorry, what company we featured on today helps children build their social circle, which was featured on the show? Was it A, Playdate, or B, Playhouse?
Playdate.
Is the right answer. What is the purpose of the International Day of Families? Is it to promote the importance of family business or to highlight the significance of families and promote their well-being?
Both. Families, yeah, second one.
Yeah, the second one is correct. And your time is up. At the end of that, you got 5. Not bad at all. The question you got was really confusing.
I know. Yeah, I'm so bad with things like this. I have ADHD, by the way, so I need to see something written.
Well, it's the beginning of the week, so you're still your number 1 at the moment.
For now.
And hey, that question was tricky. You threw.
Do I win anything?
You don't win. You get pride.
It's just.
Thank you guys both so much, Helen and Hanan. You guys are wonderful,
and
so excited to have you.
Cool. Right, we will be back after the break with a father and son duo performing for tonight. They are amazing. And our very special interview with Dr. Shefali. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to DXB Today, where we're celebrating families and some very talented musicians. I'm here with Solly Y, and he's not just shorter than me. You're also 12 years old, is that right?
Yes, that is.
Amazing. How long have you been doing music for, then?
So I've always loved music since the beginning. I think I started playing guitar and singing when I was 6, 7. Just something that I've always loved, you know.
Incredible. And is this something you picked up on your own, or did you have an influence in your family, in your life?
My dad, definitely. He introduced me to music, to a variety of artists, and just turned out to be something that I loved. And
we're going to be seeing your dad later, because you like to perform together, is that right?
Yes.
What different roles do you play? Who's the singer, who's the drummer, who's the guitarist?
I mean, singer, obviously I am. We both are guitarists. I mainly do the rhythm, he does the lead. So when we're playing songs, he would do the solos, I would be playing the chords in the background.
Now, I'm sure you started playing together when you were 6 years old. How has it evolved now? What are you doing together? Are you performing in front of people? Are you planning on putting an album together with your dad?
I mean, yes, definitely. We're trying to create songs, always. You know, we never want to stop. That's the main goal for us. Never stopping, always playing.
I like that. Never stop.
Yeah.
Win.
Definitely.
Big up yourself, King. So tell us where we can follow you and follow your journey, because I think you've got a new Instagram page.
Yes.
We need to follow that. We need to get it to thousands of followers.
Yeah, so it's called Solly Y Music. We just launched it, and it's managed by, obviously, Soundtrack DXB.
Okay,
yeah.
Amazing. Well, we can't wait to see just how talented you are, and of course, can't wait to meet your dad. But for right now, we're going to check out the exclusive interview with Dr. Shefali. Dua went down to have that interview. Check it out.
We are here at the Mind Valley event where we are talking to Dr. Shefali, a 4-time best-selling author. And what strikes me about your work is that you combine Western psychology with Eastern philosophy, right? And you've been kind of backed by Oprah for your work on conscious parenting. So please tell us a little bit more about conscious parenting.
Sure. So conscious parenting is a new way that parents can parent their children, and the focus of conscious parenting is not the traditional control or fear, guilt, and shame that typical parents do, but it's really focused on parenting the parent. So the parent focuses on themselves and tries to raise themselves before they try to raise their children. So it's more about how the parent is showing up versus how the child is showing up.
Very interesting twist on parenting. So how does someone go on this journey to become a conscious parent?
Well, you know, one has to be willing to want to look at oneself. So it takes a certain level of curiosity, self-growth, initiative from the person to want to grow, to want to heal themselves, and to want to do it in a different way than they were parented. Because if they simply do it the way they were parented, then they will just repeat the cycles over and over again. So it's for that parent that wants to break the cycles that have lasted in their family and to revolutionize the way that they connect with their children.
Absolutely incredible. So I understand that you are teaching people how to do this through your new book. Tell us a little bit more.
So this is the new book. It's called The Parenting Map, and this is the how-to become a conscious parent. You know, parents are confused. Parents were never sent to parents' school. They were not ever given any training. So parents, as a result of that, feel overwhelmed. They feel burdened. They don't know who to turn to. And then they end up feeling a lot of shame that they're doing something wrong. So if you're a parent out there that wants desperately to do it differently, to connect with your children, then this is the book. It's called The Parenting Map, and it will teach you how you can become the most conscious parent.
Incredible. Thank you for your time, Dr. Shefali. Thank you.
The dynamic duo getting the wonderful interview of Dr. Shefali. Amazing. So it's a new week here at DXB Today, and new weeks mean a lot of different people, a lot of different things, but here it's exciting because we have new prizes up for grabs. Dina, what do we have?
Everyone watching today has a chance to win a dinner for two at Demon Duck in Caesar's Palace. What you need to do is go onto the Dubai One Instagram page, find the competition post, and tell us why we should pick you.
Because I love food?
Yeah.
Because I love duck?
You can't enter. They will never pick you, Fatis.
Because the chef there is absolutely incredible.
Okay. Good reason. So, guys, highlight for today?
Well, I think we're going to Demon Duck. We're going to Demon Duck.
Yeah, I've pretty much forgotten everything else we talked about other than Demon Duck now.
Well, it's family. It's a family show.
Yeah, this is my jam.
It was Faris's birthday.
Yes.
So why don't we do a family trip to Demon Duck?
Oh, my goodness. You know, I had a really good weekend celebrating International Family Day.
Yeah.
We went away, had a staycation.
Nice.
We did a theme park. We really got into it. Any excuse to go to a theme park. So, yeah, it's been a good weekend. Happy International Family Day to everybody watching, to all of our families.
And thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for hanging out with us as we talk about everything and anything around the UAE. We're going to be back with another episode tomorrow, 8 p.m. But for right now, can't wait to hear the musical stylings of Solly Y. Take it away, fellas.
Sometimes I sit and wonder if she don't love me anymore. Sometimes I sit and wonder if she's starting to get bored. Sometimes I feel like we've been stuck on playing the same old notes, like a string being played over and over, over and over. Caught up in your rhythm like a song stuck on repeat. And every time I see you, my heart just skips a beat. Trying to figure out why you're always one step ahead, playing games. Oh, 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 messing with my head. Sometimes I sit and wonder she don't love me anymore. Sometimes I sit and wonder if she's starting to get bored. Sometimes I feel like we've been stuck on playing the same old note, like a string being played شي برجع تاني وطول الوقت بحس انها عمالة بتلف وتدور انا مش فاهم هي دي باردة ولا دي برد الطول. Sometimes I sit